Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Stallings. You know me here on YouTube as MarauderEX, and as always I'm your host for Operation Recap, where I take some of the stories from Rainfall.com and I share them here on YouTube because I like the tubes that you were on. We're just going to stop with that one and just move on. This week I've got 4 stories. I actually could have picked up more, but you know, a couple of them are rumors and unsubstantiated, and some of them are just kind of but there was a very, very, very busy week and a half of news that I really could have thrown at your faces. So I'm going to throw one extra story for you this week, and then I want you to go to the site and read more, because we've got a ton of these stories, and some of the stories that I'm going to talk about today, just read the whole thing. So there's so much information that I could dedicate an entire video to one of these stories. It's great. The first story this week, Final Fantasy VII is coming to the PS4. And no, it's not an HD remake. Everyone lost their minds when they heard this. Final Fantasy VII, the PC version, is going to be ported to the PS4, coming out in spring 2015. So you can kind of get your hopes up, but why? It's on Final Fantasy VII's on PlayStation Network. It's been on PlayStation Network for a long time. I was kind of thrilled when you could play it on a PSP, but it's coming to the PS4, so not an HD remake, not what everyone's hoping that they're going to do and just completely redo the game from the ground up, making it look as modern and as amazing as Square Enix seem to be able to do with their newer entries. But no, it's just the PC version coming out in spring. So if you don't already have Final Fantasy VII for whatever reason and you have a PS4, next year you'll be able to play it. Or you could get any number of devices that have Final Fantasy VII available for it. Just saying. Yeah. Next up, this is one of the stories that I could really go just... I could talk about this one for a while. The gaming industry has lost a pioneer. Ralph Baer passed away at the age of 92. A lot of you probably don't know Ralph Baer. You may have seen the ridiculous amount of coverage that gaming sites have dedicated to him and wonder, why should I care? He created the Brown Box, which was basically very early, Pong-esque type device. Very early home consumer video game product, and this is after starting an incredible life and then deciding to go into electrical engineering and design something like this. And then he went on to create the game Simon, the color pattern game where you have to memorize. Just like I said, I could go on with this for a really, really long time. But this is one that I really highly encourage you guys to read the article. Just the things that this man did outside of gaming. Having to deal with, Nazi Germany, World War II, early days of IBM, all sorts of just ridiculous things that a lot of people really have a hard time wrapping their... Like, I sit here and look at this, and I have a hard time wrapping my head around just how close some of these events were, and that this one person was involved in a lot of these things. And because of him, home gaming is a possibility. So it's a read I highly suggest you do, and just take a second and mourn the loss of someone that helped bring a fantastic hobby to a ridiculous number of people and turn it into something, help turn it into something mainstream. And he will be sadly, sorely missed. So, next story for the week, something a little less sad. Bravely Default has a release date in Japan. Doesn't have one in the US yet. It is coming out April 23rd, so I may import it for my birthday, because that's just perfect. But it is coming out. It will be 5,980 yen, or 64.58 after tax. That's still yen. The collector's pack will be 14,800 yen, or 15,984 after tax. The collector's edition will include a Pope Agnes figure. Looks like a figure. If not, it's just a very nice pin or 2D image. Art book novel entitled Bravely Default 200 Years Later, Shrine of the Maiden of the Wind, a data CD, a notebook, and a rubber strap. Rubber strap seems a little out of place, doesn't it? Also, Japan's doing the retailer-specific in-game bonuses. If you order from specific retailers, you get specific weapons that change your stats greatly, making it so that if you get attacked while in default mode, you get healed, increasing your attack and defense all around, lowering opponent's strength when attacking, things like that. So depending on if you were importing it, check and see if you want one of the specific in-game bonuses if you are that hardcore into it. I mean, if you are importing the collector's edition of Bravely Default from Japan, chances are you're probably going to want whatever specific content comes with it, so check out that information as well. So, and yet, again, no information on a Western release yet. But we're hoping. I mean, Bravely Default did really well, so I can't imagine that this one won't get localized. It might just take a while, because, you know, it's Square. And the last story of the week is The Last Guardian is still a thing. Maybe. Alright, so the team behind Ico and Shadow of the Colossus have been working on The Last Guardian, which is a game that has been roughly vaporware for years. It's been hyped up for several years, shown at E3 in very preliminary stages, getting everyone worked up, and then it just keeps going through this development cycle hell. It seems that everything that could possibly go wrong in the development of a game has gone wrong, but it's from such a fantastic director and team that they keep trying. And I gotta give them credit for the fact that they seem to keep trying, so good on them. But they've said that it's progress under completely new conditions. It's very vague. There's no real information revealed about that. But the fact that they're still talking about it kind of gives hope that they haven't canceled it, and they haven't forgotten about it. So, the director, Fumito Ueda, I'm butchering his name, Ueda, states, talks with Sony Computer Entertainment on The Last Guardian have been ironed out. We're making progress under completely new conditions. I'm also working on some other things that hopefully I'll be able to show in time if progress is smooth. So yeah, I'm hoping it comes out. It's been a long wait. First announced in 2009. So it's been just a little while. But the fact that they keep talking about it again shows it's not completely ignored, not completely forgotten. We'll just have to see what happens. So yeah, go check out all those articles. Like I said, read up on Mr. Ralph Baer. Fantastic read. Huge influence on the gaming community and gaming industry that we've come to know and love. And a lot of people probably have never even heard his name. And then you can go get Final Fantasy VII on yet another device and import your copy of Bravely Default 2 while patiently waiting and twiddling your thumbs for The Last Guardian. But yeah, go check out those stories at Rainfall, and go check out all the other stories that I didn't recap for the week, because we've got a ton of those as well. So I will see you guys next week with more newsy goodness here on the YouTubes. So till then, later everyone.